Welcome into DC On Screen episode 376. We're going to be getting super spoilery on Flash 320, I Know Who You Are. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
To recap, the team tracks down Tracy Brand, hoping to instigate her into building this prison that eventually traps Savitar. HR falls for her hard. She's reluctant, but eventually agrees to work on her supposedly crackpot ideas after seeing Savitar in action. Joe almost lets Cecile go, but after Killer Frost kidnaps her, he has a change of heart and tells her everything about the team. With Julian's help, Cisco gets over his fear of his own powers and takes Killer Frost down before Savitar rescues her. He does get some blood to work on I can't read that line. He does get some blood to work on a cure, though. And finally, some introspective deduction leads Barry to Savitar's true identity, future Two-Faced Barry. Hey, it's funny that because Jason, for quite a while now, has been writing the recaps, and you wrote that future Two-Faced Barry, and it reminded me of Dark Knight, where you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's funny that he
that
has
line that almost makes sense.
The line that almost makes sense, and yeah, I wonder why he is a Two-Face. I wonder why he's got the Two-Face.
There's a lot to learn from this episode, and we don't know. Like the emo Barry from before, or from after. Anyway, the future Barry that he's already talked to.
Yeah.
It could be the same timeline, and just it could be way past that. I don't know who we're dealing with here. I mean, there's a lot to chew on, but
yeah,
when I finished the episode, though, I was like, well, I guess there was no comma after all, which means that future Two-Face Barry is a fan of puns.
Yeah,
because that's some sick wordplay right there.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little happy because I feel like at least part of my theory was true.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to work in, both theories. Like, it's future Barry, but as I talked about this on the last DC TV show with Bethany, that I was like, I think it's going to be Barry, but he's going to be using the holographic face technology to do the thing to make himself look like Ronnie, so that Killer Frost is like, oh yeah. But so far, no evidence of that.
Yeah.
But
there's actually no evidence that Killer Frost even knows that it's Barry.
Right. Well, yes, there is.
Really?
You have more in common than you think. She was hinting at it the whole time. She absolutely was.
Well, I guess so. She was hinting at it, but I haven't. There's been no determining evidence, I guess. Well, but it is easy to put together. Once you see, Savitar allows this entire situation to develop at the end there with the kidnapping and everything, and then it leads me to believe that for some reason he needs Killer Frost to be the one that kills Tracy, not him, because he does. He just leaves her, and I'm not sure what that would be. It's just another thing to chew on for a week. But it leads me to believe that that's exactly, it has to go down that way.
Yeah. And
you also don't know, if this is future Barry, you don't know what he's out for. Does he just want the revenge? Does he want to fix his past and fix his future, therefore? You would think future Barry, if he's the same Barry that he's lived through this, we know it's just a future version of, this Barry. Mm-hmm. He knows about timelines and flashpoints. He's got all the data. So I don't know exactly what his end game is here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did like that Barry kind of sorts it out himself.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know what it is about any of these shows. Not necessarily just the DC shows, but sci-fi fantasy shows. Becoming evil makes you a bad actor.
Yeah, even Grant Gustin got a little hammy, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll give her this though. Pennebaker's pulled in a little bit as Killer Frost. Mm-hmm. She's getting closer. And two things outright. The Ice Highway looked great. I loved it.
Yeah.
And the new costume.
Was a nice thing to steal from X-Men.
Yeah, it was a nice thing to steal from Iceman, yeah. But it looked good, and it's something she could do, so why not?
It did.
And the new costume, the new Killer Frost costume, oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. She pretty. So it's a lot of blue.
So Matthew Ryan Cronin, our listener buddy Matthew Ryan Cronin, commented several things. He said, just watch the first 2 minutes of Flash. Weird vibe that Joe's girlfriend might be Savitar. Just putting it here before finishing the episode. Then following up, admission here is so easy. Sigh, we've gone live wire with Killer Frost. And then finally, boo. Apparently, this is a thing that I've heard from a lot of people is on the interwebs, is that they didn't like the Barry reveal.
Everyone thought, everyone had their own theories, but this wasn't where they wanted it to go, it seemed. Now, take heart, people. The writers have already said we're not doing time travel next year, so, you know.
Did they? I thought they said they weren't doing speedsters.
Well, it wasn't going to be another speedster, but I could swear it wasn't going to be like a messing with time. I'm sorry, it was a mess. No, we're not going to mess with timelines, I think is what they said. Mm-hmm. So it won't be so much a like, I don't think you'll need like a bunch of yarn and thumbtacks to figure out what's going on next year. But I think it's going to be like kind of pull what Arrow did this year. Like, let's do a story.
Well, I'm sort of bummed about that because of the multiverse and timelines. That's what I really like about the Flash. Like I
do a little bit, but I also wouldn't mind if they took a season and told like an in-house story and then expanded real hard. You know?
I don't mind. I mean, they can tell a story as just.
I just wouldn't mind a grounded story out of these guys for a minute. It'd be fine with me. But
I got grounded on Arrow. Screw that.
Fair enough. By the way,
damn it, Jason, I want an echo chamber. Don't disagree with me.
You'll get it. You'll get it in time. By the way, HR ordering coffee with Tracy. There's this little moment where she orders the Zoom. He's like, "What? It's on the secret menu." And she explains what it is, and he kind of like turns his head real quick. "Marry me."
I still don't know what this line was, but one of my favorite things from HR is something about turning tubers into finger chups, and they're like chips, and he goes chups.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
I just supposed that was one of those like translations from Earth 19 that we'll never quite understand.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Those always kind of crack me up a little bit.
Norbert Einstein cracked me up a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
Norbert.
Maybe my favorite line out of this. There were actually several good lines, but some of them are more or less funny. The funniest stuff came out of HR, I think, outright. Like he gets off track for a second, and someone tells him like someone like yelps at him. I forget who it is that yelps at HR for getting off track, and he's like, "You're right, Iris, focus." And then.
And they cut to her, and she's
what?
What did I do?
Like she literally does like the what? Like gets out half the word what, and then they just move on. It was that was laugh out loud.
That was fantastic.
Maybe one of the best sentences I've heard in a while when they're looking for Tracy, and he sees the Galileo quote: "Tracy, you blessed paramour of science."
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! And it was a good pull to pull the Galileo theme. Out of that for her, like the crackpot, and like now she's intimidated because she's not a crackpot. She's got to live up to this Galileo thing now because that was a cool side story with her.
Yeah. I enjoyed her bit where she's like, "Oh, so I'm like Sarah Connor," and everyone's like, more like Miles Dyson.
Yeah, good try.
That was fantastic.
That was everyone in the room groans. Oh, now the Galileo speech though, it was a great speech from HR. A good pick me up, like I believe in you and all that stuff.
Sure.
Well done. You know, the Flash, if the show does nothing else well, it does good speeches. Mm-hmm. And HR had a great one. But the whole time they were doing this, I kept thinking, get inside, get inside, get inside, get inside, get inside.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, I'm sitting there kind of expanding the thought going, well, everyone should be on lockdown. And at about that time, Cecile gets kidnapped. Or Cecile, gets kidnapped.
That's funny. Every time I wrote down Cecile's name, I spelled it Cecil.
I did the first time. Second time I corrected myself. I literally, I could show you, I could text this to you. I did the exact same thing.
I made a note and I looked down just a second ago. It said Cecile is the only normal thing in Joe's life. And then
that's literally why I made that mistake a second ago, was because in the corner of my eye I saw my show notes and I was like, it says Cecil right here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Correct myself.
I was like, Cecil is the only normal thing in what? Who? Oh, Cecile. Yeah.
Yeah, Cecile.
And then you came upon it. Yeah.
I did have one problem with those two. Well, I had several problems with those two.
I lied to protect you.
You're better than that, Joe.
That fabled card. That
I
2
thought
years
I was
ago we
protecting
promised
you. I literally wrote down, "You're better than that, Joe." That was my response to that.
When we started this show 2 years ago, we very blatantly stated that if there was one thing we could just take out of all of these shows,
it would be I thought
a little card that said "I lied to protect you."
Yeah,
we throw it into the sun.
Yeah, hand it to Wolverine and have him go into the sun.
So I'm glad they worked this out. That Cecile and Joe worked it out by the end of the episode.
I am, but when he dumps her mid-episode, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing Joe's ever been involved in. He's a better character than this. Come on, people.
Now
Joe is above the CW-ness of this universe.
Jesse L. Martin sold the hell out of it, though, right?
Of course he did. The man's a classy actor.
Fantastic. I almost cried when he took off that ring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Same time, I went, well, okay, Cecile's probably dying for Iris now.
Maybe. Also, side note though about them, they come in off that marathon training and still have the energy to flirt. Bullshit. you pre-make a smoothie because you're not going to have the energy to press frappe.
That's true. Yeah. I don't make the smoothie and I don't do the jogging.
I mean, dude, I've never been up to marathon training level at all.
But
I've hit up 8.5 miles before, and let me tell you, you don't come home like ready to go like hang out and flirt on a couch.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's only 8.5. You get to the 13 point, you need to lie down.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So I don't know. She looks like she might be okay. She's in shape.
Yeah, you're more worried about Joe here, right? Yeah.
Joe. Well, to be fair, Joe did look like he was about to die.
Mm-hmm. That was actually another problem I had. Joe acted like he was about to die because he's a good actor. But he had that sweatshirt on, and there were like 2 spots of sweat, and I thought, nope. I'm calling that too.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
That should be mean covered in sweat.
No, that's a television trope. I used to be a lot fatter than I am, and I used to run with a sweatshirt, and for a long time I didn't have any sweat. I just wouldn't sweat.
I don't even know how that works.
I know. Now I sweat profusely when I run, but
I mean, when I was down at like 165 pounds, which is pretty healthy for my height, I could go run 3 or 4 miles. I'd come home to a sweaty shirt. Just how it works.
I don't know what it is, but when I was like 18 or whatever, and I was huge.
Were you drinking any water? Were you ingesting sand or maybe some kind of dessicant? Silicone gel. Those things that you don't swallow the silicone gel beads before you go running. When
I started, I'd go out and like cut grass and stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sweat. I would just get red. My cheeks would get red, and that's it. But
I forget if you're Irish.
Once I got into the habit of working out and running and drinking a lot of water, I started sweating a lot, and that's never gone away. So, but for a long time,
there was the pre and post period of sweat.
Yeah, it was weird. Now there's a. Am I wrong? Did HR have a book called All's Well That Ends Wells?
He did, and that's hilarious. Oh, there was a thought I had with HR. Like HR's been kind of, he's feeling out Tracy the whole episode. You can tell he's kind of smitten, right?
Yes.
And he gets her back to the lab.
Uh-huh.
And he pulls, as soon as he panned over and I saw him with the drumstick, I thought, oh, don't show her the drumstick yet, dude. Don't. She's not ready for that. That's the kind of idiosyncrasy you need to keep in the back. Like, you need to be on a date first, at least, before you show her the drumstick twirling.
I don't know. In college, I knew a lot of guys, and they all had drumsticks. That was like their nervous tick.
That doesn't make sense. I have one pair of drumsticks. They're sitting on the drums I have in the other room. That's where they belong.
It was like the guys who didn't know how to play guitar. Like, I used to hang around the old Baptist campus ministry over there at the college.
Yeah.
And so many people. Some of these people were jokes.
You get some characters. I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, it's like every viable bachelor in the place was in the praise band.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't have a guitar on hand to woo the ladies, they had drumsticks to just show that they could play an instrument. It was ridiculous. What was even more ridiculous?
I've literally seen a guy walking around chewing on a guitar pick. I was like, oh, cool. Like, what do you play? No.
I remember that one.
Why do you have a guitar pick in your mouth? Just chewing it. Go get a match. You can light a fire.
And then they actually got a pool table at the BCM. So like the guys who couldn't play instruments would walk around with pool cues all the time, acting like badasses. And I'm like, oh gosh, guys, come on.
Go get a cane.
Until I became really good at pool, and then I walked around with a pool cue.
That was more of a like, challenge me.
No, that was.
There can be only one.
That was more of a, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Please come play.
Someone please play me.
All right. So, is Tracy seeing HR or his partner? Because he felt bad. Well, he felt bad and told her, by the way, I'm not a genius. But he didn't say, by the way, you're not seeing the real face that I have because I share a face with a murderer who's wanted.
I think she's seeing HR.
You think she's seeing HR? Okay.
I have just come to kind of believe that when he meets someone that he wants to meet as himself, he kind of like does the device in his pocket. You know, like just does it real quick.
Yeah, but he knows the person at HR at CC Jenner's. He's a known murderer.
I know. I think that's just one of those things we're gonna have to get over and let go.
Nope, I will not. We've got 3 episodes left
got
in
my
this
death
season.
bolt.
I'm waiting for.
I've got my death bolt. I understand.
Nope, we're waiting. I'm still waiting on that Chekhov's gun to be fired.
Yeah, that's fine, and it'll go in the little chest with death bolt.
We are DC on screen. I think we're done. We're done.
Yeah, I can be done.
Oh, by the way, the promo for the next week. Have you seen that?
No.
He just comes out with it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, so that's how Barry knows. That's how Savitar knows everything." And then, like the promo, like Cisco is like, "So what if we like take Barry's memories? You know, like just some short-term memory loss, you know, so he won't be able to do what you do, know what you're doing." And then he like just completely takes Barry's memory, and Barry wakes up and he's like, "Where the hell am I? Is this a dentist's office?"
Oh, that'd be good. No, this would have been a great opportunity to have Martian pop over for a second.
It would. It'd be cool.
See Harewood for a second there. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
David Harewood.
He'd be, David Harwood.
Harwood. Whatever.
Harewood.
I was worried about that E.
I think it's Harewood. But, for once he could actually be of use. He hasn't been of use in a minute.
Abuse. Well, we didn't talk about it, but on Supergirl, they tried with him. And you had to try.
A little bit. All right. So we're DC On Screen. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. Hit us up on Twitter and Facebook, DC On Screen, one word. And proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network. We're going to be coming right back with Arrow 520 underneath. Until then, guys, keep some DC on your screen.